Hey guys, Adam here. I wrote my paper on the differences between men and women in our communication, and let's start and go over that now. We know from our textbook that men and women can be different. We know that men typically learn to be strong and masculine, and women learn to be ladies. Now, that is in our culture. Is that a cultural thing? Or is that a predetermined scientific XYZ kind of thing? Hopefully, we'll get into that. I'm not really sure if we find the answer to that, but I think a lot of it has to do with society. Uh, can men communicate like women? And can women tend to communicate like men? I guess we're just going to have to figure that out. The other thoughts I have when it's communication between women, the main reasons for divorce in this country. You see, I was married for 8 years and got divorced almost a year ago. There were many times that I would think, is she from outer space? What was she even thinking? Why would somebody even think like that? Why would she make that decision? I hope to answer or try to shed some light on most of these issues. We will start with some backgrounds on science. When it comes to the science part, there's a lot of gray area. It seems that not one person agrees on why men tend to be stronger and women tend to be more, let's say, emotional. The only thing that people really tend to agree on is that it's the way you were raised. You know, men are raised with cowboy guns and, that sort of stuff, and girls are raised, to be more polite and proper. Not saying that either one is wrong, just saying that typically that's how it is. I read that women communicate to enhance their social connections and that men use communication to show dominance and prove outcomes. I don't think that this is true for all people, however, it may be true for the most. I definitely know of men that are emotional, they cry, they mentally think and act more like a woman does than a man. And I also know women that are stronger than me. They don't take no crap. They're straight to the punch. So this is by no means 100%. But then again, why do some men and women act differently? Shouldn't we all be the same? Well, as we know, no two people are the same. So let's talk about some of the differences that men and women have. One of the first things you will find when looking for communication differences between the two genders is that women tend to be more verbal than men. Look at this as a skill. I read that in England, a call center was being interviewed, and that he was asked and that the interviewer asked the manager, "Why is there so many women that work here?" The manager didn't really have a good answer until he sat and thought about it. The interviewer said, "Do you not have many men apply for the job?" And the manager said, "Yeah, we do actually. We have an equal amount of men and women that apply for the job. But we typically hire the women because they get people on the phone to seem like they care. They talk to them. They get the emotion out of the person. And they tend to do a better job." Now that's pretty interesting. I think as gender role in society, we think of men as like salesmen and, we're the one that are going to close the deal. But in reality, if you put a woman out there, she's going to get to the emotional side of the person and connect to them on a whole different level. I thought that was pretty neat. Now, when it comes to talking on the phone, most women I know can call and text for hours. You can be on the phone for hours, they'll text you all day long. Me, personally, if you text me more than 5 times in a row and my phone goes ding, 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 I'm ready to turn it off and throw it in the river. The only person I can sit and talk to is my parents. They live 12 hours away from me in Tennessee, so typically I can communicate with them on a weekly basis for about an hour. But other than that, that's about it. The other cool thing that I thought was interesting in this paper was that we talk about how women read tone. Now, again, in my personal life, I used to always get, why do you have that tone with me? And I would think, what tone are you talking about? You know, I would come home and say, hey, how was your day? Well, I don't like your tone. I didn't know I had a tone. Didn't think I had a tone. Didn't even think a tone was the thing. But apparently it is. And typically most women can pick up on the tone a lot better than men can, to the point that men don't even realize that we have a tone. It used to drive me crazy. My ex-wife would always say, you know, oh, why'd you say that with a tone? What, are you in a bad mood? I'm like, I don't have a tone at all, you know, like I just got home from work. But apparently I did. So I thought that was pretty interesting to learn that maybe we do things that we don't realize that we do. So here was another one. Another one is that another statement that I liked was that men and women, men make decisions quicker than women do. Women seek advice, input, and the consensus from others, while men tend to try to make decisions in a singular fashion. I read this statement and all I could do was laugh. And think about how this one time, when it came to the dreaded painting of a room, my ex-wife was a maniac when it came to painting. She would come home with 100 samples, and you would have like a sample here, a sample here, a sample here, a sample here, of like 30 stripes. And she would come and have her friends. She'd have her parents over. Anybody that come, what color do you think you like better? What color do you think you'd be like better? Where me, if I was going to paint a room, I'd be like, you know, green, let's go green. I'd go to the hardware store. I'd find a, you know, easy shade of green that I liked, and I'd just paint the whole damn house. So there's definitely a difference there. So after doing a little research, we found out that there are a lot of differences between men and women in the way that we communicate. Communication can make or break a marriage. The three big reasons divorce is so big is sex, finances, and religion. Now, all three of those things can greatly be decreased if we talk about them. We have to communicate, guys. Had I probably communicated those three things with my ex-wife, I probably would have never gotten married. And she would probably tell you the same, because on those three issues, we had issues. And I think most couples do, and they won't admit it. The differences routinely lead to miscommunications between the sexes, with each sex misinterpreting the other's intentions. This causes problems where men and women regularly interact, and especially in the heterosexual relationships. So, that being said, maybe as men, we should try to stop, think, and understand what our partner or friend or coworker is saying before we go ahead and come with a rebuttal. You got to remember, men and women typically think differently. And if we could, for 1 second, try to understand what the other one is saying, I think this world would be a better place. Think about that.